Hi guys, Vic here, and this is my first video of 2022, so Happy New Year to everybody. And as you can see, this is not a how to play video, this is not an unboxing video. This is a video idea that came to me after watching Spider-Man No Way Home recently. Great movie. If you haven't been to the cinema yet, go and check it out. And just taking a look at the board game market and availability and just having a few thoughts. So I will just put it out there, and if you have any comments, the comment section is below the video. If you have any opinions or any thoughts as well, you can share them, and all opinions are welcome. Mine doesn't have to be correct, and you know, it's all just very subjective, as usual with me, I think. If you like the channel, if you like the video, and if you've checked out the other videos on my channel, you can click the like, hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to help me out, help the channel grow. And for now, let's ask the big question that was following me around for the past week or two over the course of, you know, the Christmas time and the New Year's time, and that is, why don't we have a Marvel Universe board game that we really, really deserve as board gamers? And now, I'm not going to answer that question, because I don't know if there is an answer really, but I would like to find out what you guys think as well. So I invite you to a discussion. But if I've been very disappointed with how Marvel as a universe, as a brand, is represented in board gaming, because it basically isn't too much. And the biggest kind of push to recording this video and doing it, well, maybe finally, was, you know, watching the new Marvel movie, the new Spider-Man movie. But I had this idea in my head ever since Cool Meanies or Not, or CMON, or however you pronounce this abbreviation in your place, announced their 50th biggest Kickstarter ever. Like, well, they were, you know, advertising the 50th game, the 50th Kickstarter that they're going to do as something big, as something huge. And I was in anticipation of seeing what they would come up with. And here I was, like, waiting in anticipation, and what they came up with for their 50th campaign, this big announcement, was another Zombicide game, which I'm not really saying that it's a, you know, I'm not a fan of Zombicide. It's not a bad game. It's very popular. A lot of people out there have it. You can see it in many homes. You can see a lot of playthroughs on the internet and everything. But this is a typical Ameritrash die rolling board game that's, in my opinion, outstayed its welcome. Because, what, the first edition of Zombicide we had in, what, 2012? And based on that, then we had Season 2 in a year later, and then we had Season 3 like in 2015, and on the top of that you had all of spin-offs like Black Plague, and then Invader, and the Wild West one. What was its name? Undead or Alive, right? And after the last campaign, which was, I believe, Undead or Alive, which was in like 2 years ago, I think the campaign was, and the game is going to show up in 2022 from the information. Everybody was like betting what would be the next Zombicide game, and some were going, you know, maybe they're gonna go Asian themed right now, and they're gonna do samurais, and maybe they will do some, I don't know, medieval stuff again, like going back to Black Plague, or maybe some futuristic stuff, but we had Invader for that, so maybe something else. And then they come up with the 50th Kickstarter, and it's Zombicide Marvel, right? And I understand it. On one hand, it's a marketing thing to give people another Zombicide game, because you know that this is going to be a sure Kickstarter, right? This is going to sell like nothing. They're just going to have, you know, 12 million bucks out of the campaign or something like that, easy. But Zombicide is a game that hasn't evolved in any way since the first edition in 2012, in my opinion. Now, whether I played a lot of those, I played the Green Horde, I played Black Plague, I played Invaders recently, I played Season 1 and I played some Season 2 with some expansions, and it's still the same game. Ever since 2012, it's the same mechanic with different characters or reskinned characters, reskinned tiles with reskinned settings, but it's all around the same thing, just the basic mechanic, right? So you move an area, you can perform an attack, you upgrade your character and their skills, and you collect the XP and everything. They add little twists to those, right? Like with Undead or Alive, there is the train thing. In Black Plague or in Green Horde, you had them catapults and stuff like that, from what I remember, or one thing or another. There are a lot of crossovers and stuff, but it's essentially the same game rehashed and regurgitated again and again and again for right now almost 10 years. It will be, it is 10 years right now. It's 2022 and we're still with Zombicide and we're still with the same mechanic, right? It's easy to do, it's a sure thing that it will sell, but throwing in Marvel into this mix, even if they twist it a little bit and they give, you know, those will be zombie superheroes and stuff like that, and the skills will be a bit changed and the naming and the convention of the skills and everything. But even on their webpage, in the design diary, Seaman is saying, and I quote, they focus on keeping the abilities very clear and maintaining, I'm reading it right now, the core rules of Zombicide as consistent with previous games as possible. Now for me, even with the changes that they are making to the game, this translates into yet another Zombicide game. And this is not what we deserve as Marvel fans. Me and all the other Marvel fans out there, we deserve this license. If somebody who is doing board games gets this license and can do something with it, we deserve something better. We deserve a new, original game, an original product, completely separate from anything else that's on the market right now. A game in its own name, whether it be a strategy game or an adventure game or something like that. Now, look at the history, like recent history right now. We've got Zombicide Marvel, right? Which is just a rehash, and a lot of people will like it, but well, it's not an original game. We had Marvel United, sure, Simon again, right? But it's a game, okay, for the whole family to play. It's not a seriously heavy board game, intricate board game. It's simple, right? The Board Game Geek rating, the heaviness rating for this game is below 2.0. It's like 180 or something like that. I've played it once. The rules are simple. There is enough variety there. There are a lot of enemies, villains, there are a lot of characters, and the minis are always cool, as with cool minis or not, right? But it's still a simple game. I would say it's a family game. It's a cooperative family experience, right? And what else do we have in Marvel Universe apart from those two? The guys at Roxley came out with Dice Throne Marvel, right? And it's a rehash, right? It's Dice Throne Season 3, but with Marvel characters. So again, it's not an original game. It's just, you know, okay, we've got a license to do a Marvel game, so we have to churn it quick. So let's throw it in onto something that we already have and something that a lot of people like. We have community around it, and let's push it out like this. And I understand that it's money based, probably, right? And that you want this. This franchise, if you are allowed to make a game in this, you want it to sell with the least risk possible, most probably the case. But this is such a huge label right now. This is such a huge name, the Marvel Universe, right? And I can bet you, you know, I can bet you anything that if any studio, any publisher that obtains this license and can make a Marvel game does something original with it, like something completely brand new, a completely new game with a new rule set and an original mechanic or something like that, it will still sell because it's Marvel, right? You, of course, it has to be good in order to stay on the market, but the license itself, the name itself, sells. I can't understand, I can't fathom why nobody is doing a braver move in the board game world right now with the Marvel game. And now, like I said, going back in history even further, so what else is there on the market for us Marvel fans? So we've got Legendary, which is a deck builder with the Marvel characters, right? We've got Marvel Champions, which is another card game. There was Dice Masters, right, which also included Marvel. So we've got one dice game, which is kind of also a collector's game. We've got Legendary, which is also kind of a card game where you collect different sets, and there are how many expansions, I don't know. There is a Marvel Champions. I'm totally disregarding all of the monopolies and trivials and all those, you know, generic games like copy and paste, because, well, come on, right? They've got everything, so they've got Marvel as well. There is even Double with Marvel, so, you know, but let's disregard that completely, right? So, digging into the past, like we've got Crisis Protocol as well, which is a skirmish game, a pretty fresh one. It's still a skirmish game, right? It's a small, compact environment of a game. There is nothing large scale. Like, remember in the olden days where when companies got licenses, like Fantasy Flight Games, when they were still a big brave studio wanting to take risks, and they were doing games like World of Warcraft when they got a license from Blizzard and they did World of Warcraft, the board game. Not the best board game, grant you, with all the dice chugging and the downtime and everything. But if you had at least the Shadows of War expansion, it was a very meaty game that had a lot in it for fans, right? Because it was really entrenched in the world of Warcraft, pun not intended, and it really kind of, I was a fan. I played the online game for many, many years, and for me the board game, even though not the best mechanically, it still had this sentiment and it still had the feel. And nobody's doing that for Marvel right now. And Kickstarter, you might have thought that this would be a very good, you know, springboard for something like this, right? To be selling a game like that. But no, the people who got the license, Cool Minis or not, Roxley, they're just rehashing their own games, the ones that they usually publish, because we're already used to seeing Zombicide every 2 or 3 years on Kickstarter, right? And to tell you the truth, I'm already used to seeing another set of dice thrown again and again. There's just like, you know, slapping the license onto it, and here we go, right? You've got Splendor with Marvel. We had this Infinity Gauntlet thing as well. It was a very simplistic game. And going back in time as well. Oh, Marvel Villainous also. Again, a rehash, right? This is a villainous game, but with Marvel on it. We had Heroescape a long, long time ago, in 2007, I think, or something like that. There was a Heroescape game, but it didn't collect the best rating, and it's not like very popularly known. If anybody has it at home, you can write in the comments and tell me how it plays, because I've only seen it, I've never played it. I only remember reading the rules once, just got interested in that, right? And then historically, there was Marvel Heroes, also somewhere in the beginnings of the 2000s from what I remember, but it was also a mediocre game that didn't stick too much. And then you had all those other rehashes, like even Munchkin got a Marvel rehash, right? So and code names and stuff like that. So you have so many games that have Marvel pasted onto them, but you don't have anything that would be really Marvel, right? And I'm seriously disappointed right now because we are in a franchise that's the biggest franchise in the cinemas right now, with 20-something movies spanning a story. They've made, the Marvel movies made something that nobody else ever achieved in the history of popular cinema, in the history of, like, you know, the pop culture cinema. They've made movies starting with the first Iron Man and first Captain America. They've made a continuous story that they're still developing and still growing through, you know, the first, the second and the third phase, and now it's the fourth, right? And series that also get connected to this and everything. And even computer games, as far as the Marvel Avengers computer game didn't get as much popularity, then the Guardians of the Galaxy is a really good game. So I finished it, I was very satisfied with it. I'm hoping that there will be some kind of a DLC or a continuation of it, right? But no board games, still. There is nothing over the course of how many years how many years we've been going to the cinemas to see a Marvel movie yet again and again. I've seen all of them, and you probably guys watching this also. We haven't gotten a single original piece of good, serious board gaming with this name attached to it. And this is, I think, for me, it's not only the biggest disappointment of 2021, because one of the biggest disappointments of 2021 was the 50th Kickstarter by Cool Minis or Not being Zombicide Marvel. I just got so deflated when I saw that. Like, if they announced a Marvel game in its original way, like an original Marvel title as the 50th Kickstarter, I would be so hyped. And I would be a day one backer from the instantly. I wouldn't even read the rule book. Just buy it for sentiment's sake. But no, it's Zombicide, right? So there is nothing in the market for if you like more serious, large scale games, right? And there is so much material. Even the Civil War comic series and the Civil War arch, and make it a team versus game, like 2 versus 2 or 3 versus 3, and pit the superheroes against each other. Make it an adventure game with a cooperative, but more complex than Marvel United is going to be, right? Something for the heavier gamers. There is nothing. That strikes me as horrendously disappointing and very surprising at the same time. So I'll stop my rant right now, because this was supposed to be a quick video just to share my ideas with you guys. So if you own any of the games that I've mentioned, and if you like them and enjoy them, you can you know, write in the comments and we can have some kind of a discussion. We can share or exchange opinions. If you have a completely opposite opinion to mine, and if you're satisfied with the state of Marvel in board gaming right now, mention it as well, shout it out, and I will welcome your idea as well. If you agree with me, same thing. Write it out and let's have some kind of a discussion here. It won't change anything maybe, but we'll see how many people have a similar feel or a different feel, or how many opinions are really out there. Well, this was mine. My name is Lone Vic, and this is my channel. Check it out. Check all the other videos with a lot of how-to-plays, unboxings, and reviews of games, and a few videos of me just talking like this right now. But majority of them is how-to-plays and instructionals and stuff like that, and I'll be going back to how-to-plays in my next video pretty soon. And for now, that's all. Thanks very much, and I hope you had a great New Year's, and I hope that 2022 is starting off great for you. And if you liked the content on my channel, again, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, help me out here, and leave a trace in the comments. It's always welcome to hear different opinions, and I'm trying to respond to everybody. And for now, see you, bye bye, thanks very much for watching.